Who doesn't love a good fan theory? It's always fun to dig deep into your favorite shows and movies and connect the dots, but it's even more satisfying when they turn out to be true. Here are 10 fan theories confirmed by their creators. A while back, fans of Harry Potter speculated that Dumbledore was gay, and J.K. Rowling confirmed that this was true. Speaking at Carnegie Hall, she responded to a question from the audience, saying that Dumbledore fell in love with the charming wizard Gellert Grindelwald, but when Grindelwald turned out to be more interested in the dark arts than good, Dumbledore was terribly let down and went on to destroy his rival. That love, she said, was Dumbledore's great tragedy. Falling in love can blind us to an extent, she said. The audience reportedly fell silent after the revelation before erupting into applause. Rowling said that if she had known that this would be the response, she would have revealed her thoughts on Dumbledore a lot sooner.
What is it?
Love, Harry. Love.
While many people see Spirited Away as a children's movie about a young girl who learns to embrace the spirit world to try and save her parents, some fans view Hayao Miyazaki's Academy Award-winning film as an analogy for prostitution in Japanese society during the 19th century. The film's protagonist, Chihiro, is forced to work in a bathhouse for an evil witch after her parents foolishly ate food that was meant for the gods, which turned her mother and father into pigs. Chihiro works as a yuna, which is Japanese for a woman who works with bathers or a bathhouse prostitute. During the Edo period, bathhouses were basically brothels, places men would go to meet loose women and exchange sexual favors. Things get even more interesting when you find out what they called the brothel madams in those days, Yubaba, which is the same name given to the old witch who runs the bathhouse in the movie. And this isn't just all speculation. In interviews, Miyazaki has admitted that this was all intentional, saying, "I think the most appropriate way to symbolize the modern world is the sex industry. Hasn't Japanese society become kind of like the sex industry?" Ridley Scott's vision for Prometheus was something a lot deeper than just a prequel to Alien. Scott conceived the idea that the engineers created humanity on Earth, and when mankind devolved into endless war and chaos, they sent another engineer, Jesus Christ, to make things right again. However, instead of making a better world, humanity crucified him. This fan theory, which started on LiveJournal, is actually true. In the end, Scott had decided to make the Christ analogy a little more ambiguous than originally conceived because he believed it was, as he put it, a little too on the nose. He's quoted as saying, "If you look at it as an 'our children are misbehaving down there' scenario, there are moments where it looks like we've gone out of control, running around with armor and skirts, which of course would be the Roman Empire. And they were given a long run, 1,000 years before their disintegration actually started to happen. And you can say, let's send down one more of our emissaries to see if he can stop it. And guess what? They crucified him." Most people are already familiar with the Pixar theory, film blogger John Negroni's elaborate hypothesis that Pixar's many movies, from 1995's Toy Story to 2016's Finding Dory, all exist within the same universe. Until recently, Pixar has kept quiet on whether or not Negroni's guess is correct. However, Disney recently published a video on the official Toy Story Facebook page that appears to confirm the whole theory. The video is called Pixar Easter Eggs, and it's a compilation of primary characters from various Pixar films making subtle cameos in other Pixar movies. For example, Riley from 2015's Inside Out shows up in last year's Finding Dory, and the monsters from the 2001 movie Monsters, Inc. appear in 2012's Brave.
A witch turned Mum into a bear. It's not my fault.
Super Mario 3 was actually a play. It seems kind of obvious now, but it was pretty easy to overlook when you were a kid. The Nintendo classic Super Mario Bros. 3 begins with a set of red curtains being drawn open and characters bouncing onto a stage. It's all very similar to a theater performance. There are some pretty good points to support this theory. When you first boot up Super Mario All-Stars, you see a bunch of silhouettes chattering before the curtain rises. It's like we're with them backstage before the show. The theory gained some serious cred in a recent video put out by Nintendo themselves, in which Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto answered some questions from fans. Note that this is only specific to Super Mario Bros. 3, so Miyamoto has yet to confirm the actor-play theory for the hundreds of other Mario games.
Luigi!
Rapunzel and Flynn from Disney's Tangled appear briefly in Frozen, there is a rumor that suggests that Disney's Tarzan is also linked to Anna and Elsa. As the fan theory goes, the princess's parents were the same two people who were shipwrecked on a jungle island at the beginning of Tarzan. This would make the king of the jungle the baby brother of Anna and Elsa. Frozen director Chris Buck has now gone as far as to confirm the fan theory, telling MTV, "When you're working on a feature, you have a lot of time to just think about stuff, because it takes 4 years to make one." My Frozen co-director Jen and I were talking in a meeting, and I just started to tell her the entire story. I said, of course Anna and Elsa's parents didn't die. Yes, there was a shipwreck, but they were at sea a little bit longer, and we think that they were there because the mother was pregnant and she gave birth on the boat to a little boy. They get shipwrecked, and somehow they really washed way far away from the Scandinavian waters, and they end up in the jungle. They end up building a treehouse and a leopard kills them, so their baby boy is raised by gorillas. So in my little head, Anna and Elsa's brother is Tarzan, he said.
Please, don't. What are you doing? Oh, please don't. That tickles. No, get off.
On paper, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles living in the same New York as Daredevil sounds like a bit of a stretch, even as far as fan theories go. But like always, fans had dug deep enough to find the evidence to back it up. The acid that blinded a young Matt Murdock as a child could conceivably be the same acid that seeped into the sewers, turning 4 baby turtles into mutants. Both origin stories involved a truck accident, and they would have taken place in the same time period. Could it be possible? As it turns out, yes, absolutely. Not only is it possible, this was the original intent of the creators. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird wrote the origin story of the Turtles, intending for it to be connected to the origin story of Daredevil. The two artists meant for it to be an inside joke, but fans caught the connection and brought it to the attention of the internet for the world to see.
Oh, but no anchovies. And I mean no anchovies. You put anchovies on this thing and you're in big trouble, okay?
When Adventure Time premiered, the idea was that it took place in a complete fantasy world called the Land of Goo. As the show progressed, however, fans put forth the theory that Goo was not a different place than the Earth that we know. The Land of Goo was actually a post-apocalyptic Earth, and that Finn was one of, if not the very last, human survivors. Pendleton Ward, the series creator, liked this idea so much, he began to write it into the story of the show. Now Adventure Time officially takes place in a post-apocalyptic setting, complete with decrepit old buildings and ruined technological artifacts. It is implied that the Mushroom War referred to in the show is actually referring to a nuclear war that devastated the Earth, i.e. mushroom clouds. Adventure Time has on occasion had underlying adult themes, which makes this rather morbid fan theory pretty acceptable. For years now, there's been a very popular fan theory that suggests that the peddler who opens the film and the genie are the same character. There are tons of hints that support this fan theory, namely that both characters are voiced by the late Robin Williams and are the only ones to talk to the audience directly. In an interview in 2015, co-directors Ron Clements and John Musker confirmed the truth about the peddler and the genie. I saw something that speculates that the peddler at the beginning of Aladdin is the genie. That's true, Clements revealed. That was the whole intention originally. We even had that at the end of the movie, where he would reveal himself to be the genie. And of course Robin did the voice of the peddler. Just through story changes and some editing, we lost the reveal at the end. So that's an urban legend that actually is true. The original work print ending of Aladdin included an additional scene of the peddler revealing his true identity.
Happy end to the tale. Are you sure you don't want to buy this land? Like I told you, things are never quite what they seem. Are they?
In the early 90s, a Doctor Who superfan took to the online message boards and put forth a theory about his favorite show. The theory went like this. Since Doctor was the character's name and not his title, and since he spent his life bouncing around space and time, acting as a helper and a healer, could it be possible that human beings were actually inspired to name our own helpers and healers after him? Meaning, humanity got the word Doctor from the Doctor himself? Then, years later, that young superfan actually grew up to become a writer, producer, and showrunner for Doctor Who. Isn't that awesome that a Doctor Who superfan grew up to be a Doctor Who showrunner? Not only that, but he used that position to canonize his own pet theory about the Doctor. In the 2011 episode, A Good Man Goes to War, Moffat had the characters explicitly state that humanity got the word Doctor from the Doctor. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Until next time, peace you guys.